In today's Farm Report, the White House last week created a Broadband Opportunity Council to look at expanding broadband internet access to more rural areas. Cindy Zimmerman with AgriPulse has more.
The White House this week created a Broadband Opportunity Council made up of various government agencies charged with identifying regulatory barriers to rural broadband expansion and determining how to overcome them. The Obama administration has already achieved its goal of getting more mobile broadband access to rural areas, according to Jeff Zients, director of the National Economic Council.
Driven by strong private sector investment and smart federal policies, today over 98% of Americans have access to fast 4G mobile broadband. So clearly we've made a lot of progress on 4G wireless access to give us fast internet on the move. But there's more work to be done, especially in the area of wired broadband to homes and businesses.
National Rural Electric Cooperative CEO Joanne Emerson, former Congresswoman from Missouri, says they strongly support federal initiatives to ensure that all Americans have access to affordable broadband service.
I know, having served 30 rural counties in Missouri, how frustrating it is for there not to be high-speed internet access. And I remember I was so excited when we got 3G and then we got 4G, and yet now that's slow. A lot of our rural co-ops are working to provide high-speed broadband. The best thing about being able to have access to fiber and to high-speed internet is if somebody wants to, on the one hand, be a stay-at-home mom, and on the other hand, actually have a business out of her home while she's a stay-at-home mom, writing a blog, doing photography, trying to get business, you name it. This is the best way to do it because you can communicate with people, and because the way that communication is done these days, which is so much through technology, it allows somebody so much more flexibility. And so we have a good opportunity here, but it will change people's lives once we do it.
Reporting for AgriPulse, I'm Cindy Zimmerman.
Food price inflation in 2015 will average 2 to 3% for the average American consumer.
But then it really depends on what type of shopper are you. Are you the type of shopper that sticks more towards the perimeter of the store, or do you stick more towards the center aisles?
USDA economist Anne-Marie Coons.
Items in center aisles are a lot of the non-perishable goods, your cereals, your peanut butter, your salad dressings, all those boxed items that you see.
But the same can't be said for meat, poultry, and dairy.
We're expecting beef and veal prices to increase 5 to 6%, poultry prices to increase between 2.5% to 3.5%. Expecting pork prices to increase 1.5% to 2.5% at the retail level, and we're expecting dairy prices to increase 2 to 3%.
Meantime, the drought in California is bringing about some concern.
There's a lot of attention on fruit and vegetable prices. In 2015, we are predicting fresh fruit prices to rise 2.5% to 3.5%, and fresh vegetables 2 to 3%.
Overall, though, Americans spend less on food than the rest of the world at 12.9%. For USDA Radio, Susan Carter, Washington, D.C.
Biotechnologies and expressing priorities was part of a panel a few weeks ago during National Agriculture Day in Washington. Cindy Zimmerman with AgriPulse has more.
The chairman of the House Agriculture Subcommittee in charge of biotechnology and research was part of a panel addressing those issues for National Agriculture Day last week. Congressman Rodney Davis of Illinois says his subcommittee is working with the new chairman of the House Agriculture Committee to set their priorities this year.
Everything moves slower than what I would like here in Washington, but I got to give Chairman Conaway a lot of credit. We've been doing a lot of groundwork, making sure our committee members know the types of issues that we're going to tackle on our subcommittee, and also making sure that it fits in with what Chairman Conaway's agenda is for the full committee. The types of issues that we're going to face with this subcommittee regarding bio and horticulture and research, but they're issues that are important to this country. They're issues that are important to agriculture. They're issues that are important to our whole food supply chain. And these are the tough issues that we have to tackle, and we have to let science come to the forefront rather than hysteria. And those are issues that you face in agriculture every single day. And I think we need policymakers, Republicans and Democrats, that are willing to face the tough issues and stand in front of their constituents and also the agriculture community and make the decisions that need to be made.
Davis offered some advice for the agriculture community in making their voices heard in Congress.
The ag community is probably one of the most engaged sectors in public policy that we see here in Washington. But make sure that when you have priorities, that those priorities are expressed in a way that you don't run all over each other either. Because as a policymaker, it's pretty tough for us to become experts in all of our different areas of what we're supposed to be experts in. That's why we have the committees. That's why you have areas of expertise. But even then, sometimes we're only good at becoming experts in generalities. So when you do make sure you put your priorities forth, make sure you do it in a very concise way that's going to allow us to take what you discuss with us and then act on it. Because unbeknownst to the 24-hour news cycle, there are a lot of us out here that want to take advice and turn it into action. And understand that perfection is never going to be part of any piece of legislation.
Reporting for AgriPulse, I'm Cindy Zimmerman.
If you are growing edible flowers, let alone consuming them, there are some precautions to consider. Cindy Lauderdale of North Carolina Cooperative Extension says, for example, not all species within a family of flowers is edible, so do your research via the internet or books before deciding to eat a flower. Also,
you're going to end up, if you want to eat flowers, growing your own organically without any chemicals, so you know that they're safe.
in addition, animal manure used in compost or fertilizer should not be used in edible flower beds to avoid exposure to viral or fungal pathogens. One other thing?
We all are different. We all have allergies or maybe don't have any allergies. So what we do suggest is if you're going to start into eating edible flowers is to just try one at a time and see how your system does, because you may react differently than somebody else.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.